3, 2, 1. Take rolling. Action.
Good evening and welcome once again to yet another amazing analysis session. And this time we are actually going to the Gen Z and the Millennials. It's a great joy and honor to have some of our young people here live in the studio and also joining us virtually via the electronic media. I will just do a quick introduction so everybody introduces themselves. First and foremost, let's thank the authority of the church for allowing our young people to have the optics to be before the camera now and share their thoughts and how the church can move forward. So I have Daniel on my very immediate right. Daniel, you want to greet everyone?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. I really want to thank the authority of the church and everyone for giving us this privilege to be able to stand before the camera and before everyone. I really want to say thank you very much, sir. Okay,
and then next to Daniel, I have Eri Onipede.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for the privilege, sir. My name is Eri Onipede once again, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay. Virtually, we have Michael Samuel from Abuja. Michael, you want to say hello to the house?
Hello, thank you very much for having me.
Okay.
Thank you very much for the privilege. I want to thank the church authority also for the privilege. It's a great privilege to be here. I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we have Triumph Obarotimi and Favor Ashokeji who will join us later. But let's just dive straight into the topic. And sorry, I have my co-moderator, Pastor Joshua Orabi, who will be doing this together. Pastor, you want to say something to the house?
Yeah, I'm sure that this is another wonderful session like you've always had together with us. Now it is straight to Gen Z. Let's do it together. Let's talk youth. Let's talk moving forward.
Yeah. So the thing is, the topic is reaching the unreached Millennials and Gen Z. And there was a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. And we're talking about the youths. You know, CAC will say our youths have run to some other churches. So that's my friend attends one of the churches that we think our youths have run to. So he was telling me that they are saying their youths are no longer coming to that church. Okay, now we are saying that our youths have gone to their church. They are looking for youths. Their youths are not in their church. Now, they think that, I don't want to mention denomination, they think that their own youths have gone to another denomination. Now, that denomination that they think that their own youths have gone to started a youth church so that their own youths will come back. So, see the three levels now. CAC thinks that our youths have gone to other denomination. That particular denomination is saying they are looking for the youths. Where are they? They are not coming to our church. They thought that they've gone to another church. They went to that church. So we are all friends. The friends, our friends in that other third church are saying that we are starting a youth church so that our youths will come back. So where are the youths?
So apparently they are not even in the church.
Not in anywhere. They are not in any church. The youths are at home. See, that's a fact. Our youth have gone to another denomination is a myth.
A myth.
And we looked at it. If the youths of, let me mention a denomination, Redeemed, enter any denomination, if 20% of Redeemed youth enter any denomination, that denomination will know. If 10% of CAC youths migrate to another denomination, the denomination will know that people have come. So the reality is that our youths are at home. They're not in any church. So that's what. How do we reach you guys? What's the shoro? What's your problem? Do you understand? So how do you? What's it? So maybe let me start with Daniel.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. You know, as you were speaking, I was just smiling and I was like, this is true. You know, when we're looking at youth, for example, now we're looking at the millennial and the Gen Z. We can say the millennial, maybe they are from people that are from giving birth to around 1981 down to 1996, and the Gen Z are from the 1996 down to till date. And if you should look at the age ranges within this age range of, okay, maybe we are talking about 15 and 30, for example. So we're like, we are there. So for example, one way at which you can reach them is, if I will look at it very well, since they are at home and we are planning on reaching them, then we can easily do something whereby even the people that we have at hand, maybe the youth that we can say, okay, they are at hand, when they are actually empowered to do something. You know, youth nowadays, there's this kind of vibe, they actually love to see that many times they will be like, let me just stay at home, it's better than, you know, I'll vibe with my friends. So if we can implement some things in the aspect of, okay, we have some people at hand, when we empower them and we tell them that this thing is something that you can actually do, we actually give them 1 or 2 something like that. When they are going outside and the other people that are at home saw what church is doing for them, I think that will actually motivate them to like, let me go to that your church. You know, we are looking at these unchurched people that are really at home, that youth are at home. Some of the times youth can be at home maybe because of they see themselves to be let me look for where I can empower myself, let me stay at home and be on my phone. Let me be at home and doing this 1 or 2 things. When everybody wants to make money, everybody wants to do 1 or 2 things. But when we empower our youth here, putting more effort onto them, and they could see what even others are doing, what their fellow young youths that are going to church, what they are doing, then I think that will actually be a means to reach them. And because when you see something, you will be motivated by what they are doing to want to do that same thing. By so doing, I believe they will come to church. Because that's one of the strategies at which we can reach the unreached or the unchurched. That's how we can reach them, by empowering even people that we have at hand. And even the youth also, this is something that even the youth at hand that are in church, when they begin to work on those things that they have, because I know the church are really trying in empowering the youth. So when the youth are able to do 1 or 2 things, they are able to utilize that which they have been empowered with, then I know that by so doing, it will actually reach even the people that are not going to church, and they will be motivated to be like, if your church can empower you like this, your church can do this thing for you, then I should be able to come to that your church. And by so doing, we're already reaching out to people the unchurched. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. That's how one of the ways at which you can reach them. So when we're talking about reaching the unchurched, the millennial and the Gen Z, these people on their phone, they'll prefer to be on online church, they prefer to just be on my phone, let me just stay at home and not going anywhere. But when they begin to see that there is value given to the youth, even in church, then that itself will push them that, if you can be getting this kind of value, me that I'm on my phone, stressing my time, they will be motivated to come to church. Exactly. So I believe that one way I think you can be able to capture the mind of the youth and the heart of the youth in the church now is to empower the youth that are in the church. Because when the youths that are in the church, when they are empowered, people around will see the empowerment and will be forced to want to go to church. By so doing, they will be, let me go to that your church. Where is the name of your church? Let me go to your church. Let me attend your church. By so doing, we'll be able to reach the church.
Okay, so creating a vibe. Okay, I know that Eri is the guy, but let me go to Michael. Michael, what's you people's problem? What's your? Although Michael said, let me put this out. Let me cast you. Michael said he's not a millennial and he's not a Gen Z. They've not discovered his own generation. So maybe I have discovered your generation. Go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know if you can hear me properly.
Yeah, we can hear you.
So we said I'm in between the generations, so I'm going to probably on the long run, I'm going to discover my generation. So I think the thing is, let's be realistic with ourselves. Okay, let's be very realistic. I think we're in a generation whereby we have the most realistic generation right now. According to according to statistics, we need to understand that this current generation, Gen Z and Millennials, are the most unchurched generation that we have. We have about 50% drift in the rate of this current generation that are actually unchurched. So there's actually some salient issues. And I think when you in this current environment or this current world that we find ourselves, we have youth that are more exposed to things, are more intelligent. You have a kid of 12 years old right now that's already learning something that people that were 30 years old, 20 something years old were learning now. So I think the church is just not catching up with that. That is my own honest opinion. I feel like the church is not catching up with the current exposure that we have the current generation facing right now. And notably, if you notice also likewise, The generation right now are more evidence-based. We are more evidence-based. We want to see results. We want to see evidence of something.
Exactly.
You cannot just come and tell us that. You cannot just come and tell us that you mix what Jesus come and turn water to wine. How did Jesus turn water to wine? How did it come to be? Scientifically, it's not possible. You understand? There's a phenomenon that we want to understand behind everything. So the exposure that we're having right now to what is going on in the world, the amount of information that we have at our disposal, the amount of uncovering that we have at our disposal is actually driving us. I was online one day, and it was last week. Someone tweeted something as regards, I don't know, on X. Someone tweeted something as regards Joseph Oladele Babalola, I will post to you. And it was saying something in regards to that, how you know some of the things that he did, how where he knelt down and prayed for hours. If you go there, you see the footprint. And I took my time to check the comment section. See a lot of comments. People are trying to understand the phenomenon behind that. Exactly. So like, this is not you should play with yourself. This cannot be scientifically explained. So we're in that dispensation now. So the things in the church have not properly been able to balance how to catch up to the current trend and situation that is going on. So that is it for my hand. That is what I think is actually happening specifically. If we can address that, I think we'll get to that probably on the later part of the show. So that's that for me.
Okay, so we're having everybody telling us you people's problems. So what did they work with you?
Actually, first of all, I want to appreciate this platform. We've been, and one of the things I appreciate about the church is growth. It's obvious that we are growing. First, before we talk about our problem, we should actually talk about where that problem is coming from, why. And the scripture was talking about the sons of Eli, and the sons of Eli were sons of Belial. Why? Because they knew not the Lord. So these days we are beginning to raise people, and our pastors are teaching messages that some of us may not be able to relate with. Like Michael has said, we are evidence-based, and it's important. We have fathers like Pastor SO Oladele, our president. The truth is that everybody cannot teach like Pastor SO Oladele. I think it was last year. It was at our youth conference, and he was speaking to us. I had the privilege to interview him one-on-one. In fact, I saved his clip, his interview in my archive, and I listen to it regularly. But the truth is that many ministers cannot preach like Pastor SO Oladele. We have our general superintendent in our youth conference this year, and he was being interviewed here. As he finished ministry, my guys, because I happen to be the director of as he finished ministry, before I get here, my guys had called him, interviewed him, they were happy because of the words they could hear him speak. Many pastors cannot teach like them, and that's where a platform like this coming to build our fathers to really do justice to the scriptures accurately. So, and one of the things I would say is that the pattern, the method at which that message is getting to us. You would not want to, when you are talking to our generation now, you would not want to be how would I put it now, and I will not be rude. You would not want to be too harsh,
too bossy.
You must do this, you must do that. I can remember I was in a meeting, and the pastor was teaching, and he had taught for 3 hours, and this message to me was not, to me I feel this message is not even scriptural, it's not biblical. Also, really, after the meeting, he said some people to also wait again, because you feel so I felt, we have ministers that we look up to in the church, in Nigeria, and the truth is that many of us watch these ministers. We see how they talk to their brethren, we see how they talk to their church, we see how they talk to their people, But when we have ministers talking about ministers in our church, the modus at which we get the message is also very important. Let me open the floor to someone else.
Pastor Rabi will ask his question in a bit, but let me go to Triumph Obarotimi. Maybe you give us the Gen Z female version. What's the people's problem? What's the issue? Or what are we doing wrong that you people are not hearing? Maybe we are speaking German and you're hearing Spanish. So Okay, Triumph, can you hear us? Can you hear
Yes,
us?
I can hear you.
Oh, beautiful. Go ahead now. What waiting be una wala? I mean, how we get the wala? Is it you people that have the wala or is us?
In my opinion, I just feel like there is not enough space for genuine questions out of the fear of criticism. Because some Gen Z, they feel like if I ask this question now, they won't answer it. They will just beat around the bush, and then they'll say they've answered the question. And you cannot ask again because it's going to seem, disrespectful and all. So most people don't even ask questions. They just sit down, listen, go home and do what they want to do. So the message is not really getting to them because they are not allowed to express themselves. Conversation is about speaking to somebody and being spoken to. But now it's just you're being spoken to. You don't even have an opinion. And now people, when they feel like they don't have an opinion, they just basically don't regard what you see. So that's my opinion.
Okay, Pastor, I have plenty of questions, but let me allow Pastor Rabi to.
Well, I understand the fact that generation changes, time changes. Like a book we read in primary or secondary school, time changes yesterday. This is just the truth. New information, new seasons, things that were different from the way we learned them. For example, we learned the hard way. But your own generation, the Bible says knowledge will increase. Knowledge has increased, like you've said. But I have a simple question. How do you guys run on campus, for example? Because I know at least that's a place where, what's the difference? I know that on campus most probably you're active, but what makes the difference? How come on campus you may be so active? I've heard of people who on campus, they are doing this, when they come to church, they go into their shells. What then is the difference? I think I've had the opportunity to visit you guys to a CAC here.
He's actually the prayer coordinator of Jabu.
I ministered
Triumph
there.
is in the choir. Michael is the regional youth choir coordinator of Media-Eshe region. So, how come you people can lead yourself and you will come out of your shell?
Okay.
Are you sure this is not pride?
Okay.
Can I
Inability to submit to authority.
No. Can I speak to
Yeah,
I think I wrote something here. It's when our generation is a generation that prioritizes excellence, and I say this a lot to people, and I think one of the things that I'm a church boy, and one of the things that cause issues between myself, the church body, is my drive for excellence. We want to do a meeting, and I'm the media director of the church. I write a budget of 300k. The others say, kill FF for worship. You say, hey, 300k. I will feel offended. No. We will take sound. The sound engineer will come late to the production. We are supposed to start program by 9. The sound engineer is not yet set. Our pastor will say, Jamashila. Our generation will not do that. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
We are talking about our campuses. We know how to drive ourselves. But when it's involving you people, you people take it as good. And like what I think Favor had was
someone is calling me you people. I'm not part of your own people. God seen you.
I'm very sorry, but
We accept people.
It's just reality.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm now.
You understand what I'm saying? So, your generation will feel we are being rude, and like Favor has said, the ability to communicate with ourselves. There's how I can remember. I actually have the privilege to coordinate media from my own conference center at KG1, and I was speaking to one of my guys, and we have somebody very old that was part of our team. He was coming from Udubanjo region, so he happens to be part of it. So I was speaking to my guy so I was like, how do you come late to the production? Now you are going to leave. Because program is starting 9. I announced to everybody, please, these things we had issues, and to solve this thing we have to come early. rectify this thing, but because you feel one way or the other, you come in. The program was starting 9. He came in 9:48, and it was to be the head of. We are supposed to do this podcast now, so it was delegated to be here. So he came late and I said, no, you coming late will not be holding this camera. This camera will not be holding this podcast. Because you are supposed to be here. You have to go out, stay, and when probably we are done with what you are doing, you can come back. We can come back here together, set it up again, and go live. But because that man felt, no, you can't say that. Oh yeah, I was set it. I said, sir, we cannot say. If you do, and these are things in campus, your president can say, because you come late, oh yeah, or you are suspended, But you feel, with apology, we don't do that. If we feel, if this brother, Baba, why you do this kind of thing? Share again. These are one of the issues. It's not like that we are. So when we now come out of campus, we find it hard to relate with that aesthetics. Like I said, prioritizing. We fail to. There's how we do our thing in campus. If we want to hold a campus fellowship now, we make sure everything is working from light, from sound. You will find if we invite you to our campus as a special guest, you discover if we have issues with light, you see that we'll just be running around. But if our fathers running Egba program, Emashilo, sir, Emashilo, I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. In fact, you yourself you take the program. You understand. I can. Okay, let me say this example. My church. We do a program yearly, an Easter retreat. So we happen to invite Pastor SO Oladele. We are able to invite Pastor Oladele. So before we start, we had light issues. So, and I'm the media director. So, and he was supposed to start the program. So, as we got the information that the light is not coming up, and although the sound is working, but the lights now we cannot stream. So, I came to meet my daddy, Ebawa Sofun Babagbe. There is a lodge. There's already an official about Fidelity Lodge. Come make sure people set lights. I think he got to a big microphone. So my daddy took the mic and he was preaching. So for about 40 minutes, we were unable to go. I was just afraid. Oh God! So we failed to adapt to that kind of reality. So if you can help balance these issues, rectify these things, it's going to go a long way to reaching out to us. We feel we are beginning to see church as if we are not part of that economy. And let's bring it down to Christ Apostolic Church now. We are beginning to see to it as we are not part of that economy. Our churches, in fact, I think one of the sessions we were talking about church aesthetics. Many of us Gen Zs, we work from home. Like you were saying, sir, many of us work from home. Me, I can count with my fingers the number of time I go out. Maybe I want to get something from the store or from the mall or something. In a month, I got to go out of my door, of my room. So that's our generation. Do you understand? So, and when we are now coming out, we are expecting to see some things that are nice to see. We know you have a message. But the method at which we want to see that message is very important. We want to come to a church whereby we see everything working, we see the lights working. I was saying to one of my friends, it's been the last time I experienced a church atmosphere was in Abuja. I hope I can say this on here. It was Apostle Michael Ropo's meeting. So I went to his church, and before the program started, about 30 minutes, they were playing string. Literally, my ears were standing. Goosebumps. I'm telling you, I was feeling, the first time I fell under anointing, my pastor prayed, I don't follow that. I fell under, I cried, honestly, I cried. I saw the picture, I was like, Eri, my uncle that was with me, bro. You didn't cry. My pastor, you didn't cry. I was like, I don't know what to happen. So, but when I get to my church, the way we played the drums, the way,
okay, let me cut you there. But it's you people that play this thing. Okay. Did you understand?
Yes,
hardly will you find an old person.
True.
In fact, I saw one of my fathers, someone of you who taught me music, at the pastor, is part of the pastor's choir. He plays all instruments. He was sitting at the pastor's choir. He wasn't touching any instrument. I was like 20 years ago, Papa would be everywhere. But now it's a time we are the ones playing now. So if we are the ones playing, and I'm complaining that you are the ones playing.
Okay, now let me put it this to you. Take aside, let's take your personality. See that personality now. Let me bring you to a church in Ekiti. I come to you and I say, Daddy, keyboard and keep PSR 550. Ejara PSR 9 S950. Alone, Daddy, 2.8 million. You. So how will you take it?
Okay.
Let's.
I need you to. I thought that I will allow you guys to contribute first before trying to. I think at times our father should enlighten you, bring you into leadership. Most of the times you're not seeing the back end. I think that's the disconnect.
Exactly.
Fathers, please, if you're watching us, we need to bring these guys into the church leadership. If you see that our average income in the church every Sunday is 20,000 naira, and we buy fuel 50,000 naira every Sunday, we won't bring a 2 million naira bill. But because you don't see it,
just assume.
You just think. You know that when we're younger, every child here, maybe some of you still think, you think that your daddy is the richest one in the world. Why? Because there's always food on the table. You don't know what daddy went through to put that meal on that table. But by the time you start paying bills,
that's when you understand.
At times you just call your daddy and say, like you are now.
You understand.
You are now.
Okay, sir. I think we'll open the club.
Okay.
But I want to say this.
Okay.
I think that's the place where Favor was talking from. That's where the place of communication comes from.
Okay.
Do you know that some of us can actually buy that keyboard with our money?
Yes.
Actually,
yes.
I was going to ask on campus, how do you sell yourself?
Exactly. I saw something on Instagram and one guy posted that there was a estate meeting and one Gen Z was asking for the estate account. But probably the way he asked for the estate account was rude. He was talking to professors. If I said one professor, I said, Mr. Lecturer. He was telling me. So, but the man who posted said, the elders were not interested there. Talk to this guy. And I said, as a boy, he felt, my own silence is consent. You understand? So he felt, but till he said, and they feel the problem is not, they're just addressing the way the question comes, the way the guy stood up to ask these things, communication is very important. Meeting, like you said, this is the budget. Let's even see the church budget. Okay, this is what we'll go to our guys. So I can say that I can say this anywhere. Our youth conference this year from our conference center. This was what happened. They called us to our meeting. Hello, Eddie. So this and that, and I called my guys. This is what is happening. One of my guys dropped 70,000. Wow. The least money we raised was 10,000 from our. I'm not saying that next year they should not give us money. I'm just saying that the place of communication.
I think we should listen to the guys online also.
I wanted to.
No, Favor just joined us. Favor Ashokeji, if you can hear us. We are asking what is you people's problem, and it seems that you people are saying it is us that have the problem. So what's your issue? What's the issue? Favor, unmute yourself. Let's hear you. I hope I'm audible, Favor.
I think she'll join us with audio alone.
Okay. Okay, let's while we're sorting that out, Michael or Treasure, you want to jump in before we come to Daniel?
Okay, sir.
On this kind of examples that Area has given, because we feel that in fairness to you people, the Yoruba adage, and most of you are from the southern part of the country, there's a Yoruba adage that a child will never grow old in the face of his parents. Even people like us, there's something that our parents would be like, we are old. So maybe we are looking at it, when did they born you? This is a read that we saw when you was growing up. So we now want to ask of church budget. How much have you been?
How much did you bring into this church? How much is your tithe?
When did they born you? When did they born you?
What work are you doing?
So maybe that's the reality. So what do you have to say? Because for instance, I know Michael's team hosted a regional concert in Abuja. It has been the best concert. I mean, it can stand any concert.
Wow.
And those guys funded themselves.
Wow.
They spent millions, I can tell you that. So what is it? What's the issue? Because and I also feel that it's because responsibilities are not
being
committed
handed over
into
your
your hands. Last year, I don't know when you came, but I think last year you handed over to last year. I don't think 2 years ago Michael would have been able to contribute that much in that same choir, and he has been in that choir.
Can you imagine?
So what's it on that? Let me start with Michael, then we'll go to Treasure on that trend in terms of communication, in terms of bringing you guys into leadership. Michael.
Thank you very much. As my GenZ partner in the studio have highlighted, I think the issue is the church has not fully trusted the youth to handle something. I think that's where the issue is coming from. And also, the church is not really ready to embrace institutional change. You know, the institutional change in the sense that you have to understand that we are shifting. So, the thing I was handed over to, I think our coordinator in choir panel was a pastor, man of God. And when the newscomer that was going to have to change and all that, we were like, okay, we expect, like, you know, it is the pastor to still be the coordinator. Then surprisingly, I think by the grace of God, I emerged. And everybody was like, you're going to be having a daughter. Instead of that, well, it's a challenge to me. I embrace it as a challenge. Push forward, set up my team, start working. But the only thing I separate body that has the person of my regional coordinator himself, he embraced us. That trust fully enough to actually do something. And does up in all process. Yeah, this is the advantage of actually backing us up as youth or trusting us to handle things. Like he said, we don't tolerate failure. We are excellent in what we do. We want results. We are result based. We are result oriented. So anything you commit to us, we don't want to fumble. I think this is a message that our daddies and our pastors at home need to actually understand that as youth, we don't want to fumble. We don't. They say, Omo, you don't want to spoil your steez. We don't want to.
Absolutely.
So we follow through the process at all. So we stop the team and we start working together. Where there's loopholes, in short, we don't even want to be coming today and telling them, Daddy, there's something that is there that would not know. It's a shame to us, like they slap to us. Like you just need to understand that. So what we do is that we just push on. So I think if the church is able to embrace that institutional change, they make to understand that no, these guys are ready for you. These guys are ready for this. Give them the opportunity, give them the platform. They will be like, no, what did they know? The funniest thing is that
maybe also results comes out. So as those things were coming out, I think the church were even embracing it more. So at times you would come up, go ahead, source out things, bring things up and come up with things, and the church will be like, no, that's not how we are doing it here. They cannot be allowed here and lights. I remember the concept you're making reference to, where we wanted to actually start the concerts, was looking at how it's going to bring, how it's going to be, and there was this general knowledge that no, let's bring from amidst us, let's do this one, that one that we have within ourselves. And we're like, no, this is not about people that we have within ourselves. We want people to come and bless our life. Okay, we have the redeems, we have the other churches and denominations that want to have programs. They bring people like Proposed to do a sermon and the lives to come and do one or two things. It's not because they feel like we don't have enough vat of knowledge, but these are some of the engaging situations that we have right now. These are things that people, the youth right now, want to experience different art. They like institutional change. They are not static. You cannot be boxing up with the same thing every single week. You go to church, it's the pastor that preaches. We go to session, it's that the month, the pastor preaches all through the month in all the Sundays. And we are hearing almost the same thing. We understand his pattern of method of teaching already. There is nothing new. There is no new innovation or anything coming up. So you just get tired and we easily get tired of things. That's just the reality of things. We easily get tired of things. So I don't want to find ourselves even in a company or in a how do I put it? Going to physical space of company. We prefer to work remotely. Now have the opportunity to dive into some other things and some other areas. So that's just ITs for us. It's not rocket science. So
okay. Michael will join us back. Treasure, let's have you. I think we should start talking about solutions now.
Yes.
Time is really time is not our friend. So what are the solutions? I still can't get over Eric calling me you people. So now I want to learn from you guys. And I'm saying this because I run a youth church, and I remember when we started the brainstorming for the youth church, I had some people closer to my age and some others farther from my age. So the people closer to my age were responsive. They turned out their assignments, they gave. So the Gen Z in the team, to me, I just like these guys are not serious. You know what? So I was almost getting angry that I'll just my people on it. But the Holy Spirit ministered to me that maybe you need to go and read how to manage Gen Z. Thank God I was humble enough to go and take that lesson. So this is us, Sponge now. We want to learn as much from you. How do we manage you guys? How do we communicate? How does the church? Because we cannot do. Look at it. 70% of the church is you under 40. And if you look at the people in their 20s in that place, they are the most significant. So any pastor who is serious should be looking at how to handle you guys, how to bring you guys in. That's the fact. So let me start with Treasure. I don't. Or is Favor here? Favor, can you hear us now?
Yes, sir.
Oh, beautiful. So after Treasure, Favor will come in. So Treasure, Triumph. How do we manage you guys? What are the solutions you feel that can bring inclusion, can bring productivity? How do we bring you guys in, and that will make you guys welcome or feel among in the church setting?
So, in my opinion, I feel like we should be allowed to spread our wings. You'll be surprised what young people can actually do if they were allowed to do it. If they were not restricted, if they didn't feel like, oh, if I do this now, won't they talk? If I do this now, won't they complain? If I do this now, what would that say? They scold me again. And our elders should probably try to understand from our own point of view. Because for instance now, in Jabu, they don't allow certain things that would draw youth to the church. They say, oh, because it's not a spirit gym as it used to be. But the truth is that it is as equally spirit gym as this. It's just our own way of being, the spirit gym. That's not what I can use to explain it.
So your people understand, but we don't understand though. Your people are laughing, but I don't understand. Can you break it down? What is the spirit gym?
Spirit coco.
So what do you mean? Like
for instance.
Yeah.
So in school, I'm going to give 2 instances. In school, where enough of class dinner now, and a lot of music and all, but they are said that the elders of the church says no, don't play the songs. They will be like, no, don't play. It's a man on the when he's bitter and he's giving this Afro gospel style. They say no, don't play it. You want to chill, or we should play some other spiritual people in the church. Even if they post like last thing we can play, but we can't play with Emmanuel because of how he is. And we're also not to invite other people from outside to the school. They say, oh, so that they don't preach against the doctrine of the church. But it's as simple as telling those people what not to do, so that they preach in accordance of the church, right? So it's like you're satisfying the youth and you're satisfying yourself too, if you actually look at it and try considering the youth. Because honestly, we cannot always live the kind of lifestyles that our parents lived, right? Because we are different and we're basically giving birth to in different circumstances and different times. So the way we would do things is definitely going to be different. The way we see things is definitely going to be different. The way we accept things are definitely going to be different. You cannot expect to bring an old man to talk about something that relates to young people. He cannot understand. no matter how experienced it is, until he has actually experienced it himself. So I just feel like they should allow us to speak. And honestly, you'll be surprised how many people can actually preach. How many young people can actually preach in the church. And another thing is that we should probably there's this thing in CAC, it's like gender discrimination, and they don't let ladies do certain things in the church. But you'll be surprised how anointed some ladies are. Some ladies are even more anointed than some men, but they cannot spread their wings because they are confined to a particular, they are confined to, okay, you're not allowed to do this, so let me not just talk, let me not just go. And honestly, the key to growth is basically just equality and knowing that you can learn from anybody at all. Like anybody, nobody is exempted from teaching. So my opinion is just let us spread our wings.
Okay, thank you, Triumph. Favor, there are loads of things we've asked. What's your problem? Is it are we the problem, or is it people that are the problem? Well, I think we're focusing on solutions now. So what do you think? How do we get you guys' attention? How do we reach you who are still our children? I can still pull your ears and say, come to church. Then how do we reach the people that we can't talk to, that they are your friends, they are your colleagues who are unchurched? So let me have your favor.
Yes, thank you, sir. So the first thing I want to talk about is like solution. Yes, you asked about solution. And one of the solutions is actually love. We should bring ourselves together in love. That we should not segregate the church in the aspect that there is older generation and there is younger generation. Obviously, there are the older generations and there are younger generations. But at the same time, we are a church and we are one. So when we are making certain decisions, we should not limit it to it's only make decisions. It's only older people that can make decisions, and the younger ones are just expected to follow. So we should give space for younger generation at the table, because we know that the work is evolved, and there are some things that older generations don't know that we, older generations, are aware of. And second, I just want to talk about familiarity. When we are it is linked to what I just said, because it's over familiarity that in the church that does not allow older people to bring younger ones to the table. They are like, is this not the child that I trained up? Imagine my daddy at the table and me, I'm at the table, and like I feel like most of them feel like they cannot, younger ones, nothing more product, cannot make decisions that are as wise as the ones that will make. So like I feel like we're not allowed to have space on the table in decision making, in activities of the church and every other thing. And another thing is that, well, it's still issue of familiarity, because when you were too familiar, this one is my child, I cannot just allow her to be making decisions that are that important, and the one that has to make decisions is when adults in the church, older generations, don't take we the youth so serious. They don't take us serious. That when youths when is church, general church program that is adults that are organizing, everybody comes to the church program, everybody is expected to be there. But when is youth program, we had our youth anniversary in our church recently, and not as many people that will come to general church program, general church anniversary came for the youth program, because I feel like the youths are like look. It's not the proper as the older people's programs. Their youth programs are not as important as older people's programs. So that's I'm not required to come. I'm not required to like appear. Like that's just what I think, that we're not giving enough room to express ourselves. We're not giving enough room to like shine our lights, because when people don't come to our programs and they don't see what we can do, they still keep underrating us and they don't allow us to move into the system. So that's just what I think, and that's what I feel. And solutions to this thing is just we should bring ourselves up in love, and we should not try to segregate the youth away from the church that no, they are still children, they cannot make decisions. We should just try to involve them in the system. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me have your solution.
Okay, thank you very much, Sam. First, I want to talk about, my colleagues have said many things, and it's actually true. The place of communication is very, very well important. And I want to say something concerning CAC because I'm a CAC member, a Bonafide one, and I love CAC so much. And there was something the youth officer was saying. He was talking about something some time ago. I think it was in a youth conference or the academic summit. Yes, it was. They were like we the GenZ were involved. Like we actually had the student committee that was the chairman was Brother Fanny, DJ Fanny. So they actually that's the truth I can talk about because that's where I am. So they actually bringing we the GenZs into the system to make some organization, and I was privileged to be part of the committee that wing, and we made many contributions. We actually inputted many suggestions from our place. We cracked our brain. If you see the way we were like, let us do something now that they're giving us opportunity, we were up and doing many things. So one of the solutions is that when there is, just as they have said, when there is a room for us to actually express some of the things, then we can easily say, oh, this, and by the grace of God, we were able to have this the best. Okay. We actually had the best for the academic summit. That's a new thing coming from us. So we had the best. I've never seen academic summits having a vest, a t-shirt. But because unique, what have not been done before, we have to have a vest. And it was only the executives who just let us test on into ourselves so that we not go and be like, oh, you are doing more than yourself. So and by the grace of God, I believe that next year, academic summit, will be having the t-shirt that everybody do. And people were asking me personally that why do people not do that? We said that it's just the first time. So this is one of the benefits of putting the GenZ into these things, and we could see that they actually aid us. So that is a place of communication. So I understand the perspective of our fathers too. They'll be like, if we're gonna give them this now and they just do it anyhow. I understand their own perspective of if they should not I will put as doctrine or anything, because we go to school one another, you can easily say, hey, organize secretary, come on, do things quickly. There's this communication that is so easy. Another thing again that I want to say again to our fathers, because we too, we are children and they are actually learning from them. Is another thing again is that me personally I've seen that sometimes we lack this genuine relationship with our fathers. Genuine relationship, we lack it. Most of the times the fathers will not be like, I am the father here. Like when I mean father, I don't mean biological. I'm talking of the elderly ones. They'll be like, I am older than you are like my child. How will you be? We lack this relationship genuinely, even with people. I was privileged to be talking sometimes ago. We were having a Bible study, and I wanted to give a suggestion. We were talking about our CAC Bible study. We were talking about Abraham, how when he appointed his death, his lifetime, and I think that was the last 2 weeks Bible study. And we were talking about Abraham that he told his servant to go and get a wife for his son Isaac. And that was the Bible study we were treating. Then there was this question that this. Then I said, okay, I want to answer the question. Do you know that some of the people, the elders one that were there, that what do you know? Keep quiet. What do you know?
And I was like, prayer coordinator on campus.
I'm not
you're not even the president. He's Papa on campus. He preaches on campus, but he cannot answer question. He cannot answer Bible study question. Not even take Bible study. Can you see? Taking Bible study, just to answer question.
When did we give back to him?
I was like,
what Bible does he know?
But glory be to God, our university chaplain and the other person of Pastor Oje Oluwasomi, he said, let him answer. I love him so much. I can give testimony to some of the people are actually relating with the GenZ because they understand this thing that if you don't give room to the GenZ to actually do something, you will lack you will lack increment, you will lack productivity. You will just be gathering only yourself and baba. You will just see that you are running because, and that is what we are focusing on, reaching the unchurched millennial and GenZ. So when you keep on saying they should not answer, you say as you see, do you think I will be motivated to want to answer? Even though I have questions, even though I have answers, I will just sit down and be looking. So but when Jenna said, Pastor Blasomi and I think Pastor Magwagala, some of the chaplain, they said that I didn't know, let him say something. Then I spoke that this is because we understand to some extent, they can be looking at that we are little, we are small, we don't know anything. But I tell you, relationship with God is not a matter of I've been born this time. Fellowship with God is not a matter of, or growth in God is not a function of I've given my life since 19 something. That's that story. What we want is, how much do you have this fellowship with him? Because we commune with God, we understand to some extent priesthood. That I was saying it. What I gave was that I said sometimes we could see what Abraham did. What Abraham did was that he exercised priesthood even over the family. That even the servants could not do anything else but to just do the will of God. Because Abraham has taught him so much that you must follow the will of God. The man did not eat anything there. He did not do anything. What he did is followed what he had already been told to do. That this is what I want to do. I want to get wife. He made sure he did everything. Even though they come and eat, he did not eat except until he finished that business. So that he demand Abraham. He has already exercised priesthood on the family. But how many fathers today are exercising priesthood? They'll be like, it's for the mother. That was what I wanted to say actually. And it's something that I believe is something that is not necessary that we already understanding now. But you know, they say I should keep quiet. So I'm just saying that's for a case study. But thank God that we have someone like Pastor Oladele now, and quite a number of people, the youth officers, who is bringing the Gen Z into the. So if we can have that, we will reach even the unchurched Gen Z and Millennials. Another thing again that I want, you want to say something?
Yes, I just want to add to cover.
Sorry, let me just say the last one. Another thing again is that our response to the people, to the Gen Z. You know, some of the time, just as you said, that they do not understand the back end, you know, some of the time, they'll be like, you see a small boy, but that small boy is doing many things that you cannot do. That small boy that you're saying, you cannot understand, is that small boy, that same small boy, that will still be telling you that, Daddy, that's not how to do it, that's not how to do it, this is how to do it. On your phone, it's your phone, personal phone, he will be telling you this how to do it. And yet, you are telling him that you cannot understand. Begin to train and teach, little by little. These people, bring them into, look at what they do, correct them. The next time they will do better.
Yes, sir.
They are just saying, leave. They will not be motivated. They will not see church as nothing because church is not adding value to them. You know, it is when you express yourself, that's when you begin to see your lapses. Yes, there are lapses that we make. We made a lot of lapses. I'm a student. I understand you understand what I'm saying. We understand what I'm saying. There are lapses sometimes that will come and correct ourselves after we pray. Bro, what you did in that place? What you said in that place? We begin to highlight things and begin to say, I did. But that is because we give room for expression.
Exactly.
But if the fathers are saying, go and sit down, they don't give room for expression, then how do you want? And don't forget, it is this same Gen Z that will take up the church.
Yes, whether you like it or so let me just add to that. If you don't go by retirement, you shall die before us.
Last.
We will not die before you.
Amen.
We will bury you. One way or the other, you shall go.
That's the thing.
So we need to wrap up.
We cannot finish off.
We continue offline when we finish.
I want to say the solution. I just wrote some stuff here.
Okay.
One, let the church prioritize excellence. Let the church go digital. If possible, can be writing letter from the prison. I don't see why churches cannot, go digital. The world is going global. We are in a digital world now, so the church should go digital. And I wrote a method and content of the message. Service time. Our service time is very important. As much as we want to capture us, our service time is important. Planning, proper planning. I wrote a church aesthetics and interior. I said that earlier. Program schedule. We are like Michael said. We are result oriented. We want to see what you have for us. We want to see what you have for us. And I say this that we need to start raising. Our fathers need to raise intentional. And this is a message to ourselves. We need to be intentional with ourselves. We should not go to church with sentiments. What my dad would say, what people around me would say. We should be intentional about the God we believe in. So that's what I have.
Okay, your closing thoughts, Michael. Briefly.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, I just have a few points here actually. You have mentioned some of them. I just want to align one. One of it is we have to embrace diversity. I think in Christ Apostolic Church is a salient issue that we need to address. That people believe they are more focused on one particular ethnic. Very, very important that we embrace ethnic diversity because this generation we have a lot of ethnicity. A lot of different ethnic groups. So if we want to bring more, allow them to stay within, we need to enjoy that. Also, we need to encourage mentoring programs. Very, very important. Mentoring program, very, very important. Our leaders in church, our pastors and daddies need to encourage mentoring programs. Very, very important. Also, we have to develop communities, youth communities, very important. I think an opportunity to be a member of Praise Be Church is a youth community, and it's a community, online community made online, digital, physical, made for youth community. Whereby if you come there, you have the freedom to express yourself, you have the freedom to do some certain things. I think first and foremost, we need to embrace this more. When we embrace this more, we are going to see our youth coming back to the church. Trust me. I think that's all for my hand. So because of our time. Thank you.
Okay, Favor, let's have your closing thoughts briefly.
Thanks, sir. So, like I've said earlier, they've said almost everything I have in mind, that we should go digital and we should invest in actually building rapport with the youth, regardless of being older or being younger. We should come together as one, and we should emphasize on love. We should come together as one. We should be able to correct and talk and speak honestly about youths when they do things, our reaction to whatever they do, whenever we give them opportunity to do things, our reaction should be honest, but we should not forget that it should be in love. Because when you correct somebody in love, regardless of whatever you say, even if it's if it doesn't sit well with the person, but when the person realizes that you did it in love, the person will be like, okay, I think this person means well for me. So we should not forget to always correct in love, regardless of our older people should not forget to correct us in love while giving us the opportunity to stand in front. And above everything up, we should not forget to preach Christ. As much as we are trying to draw the youth to not feel left out, we should not forget to preach Christ. We should not forget to preach the gospel. Thank you.
Okay, God bless you. Let's have Pastor Rabi just have his closing thoughts.
Yeah, I strongly want to agree with everyone tonight, and believe me, this is very essential. It's your age, it's your time. I want you to remember something. These were the words of the regional superintendent from Anosike region today. His parting words at his word today, as at the lessons today. He said, don't forget that there's tomorrow also. Guys, this is your time. But believe me, whatsoever you do now serves or will serve as legacies for the ones coming behind. Don't think you'll be young forever. Forever young, there's nothing like that. It's only a song. We were also young like you. And now we understand things you don't understand. So again, Jesus has to be the bedrock. Remember that everything you do right now, you do it for yourself. And most importantly, you do it for God. The records are there. Preach Christ. Like I think Favor is saying. Preach Christ. Don't let any limitations hold you back from doing that. Whatever souls you will win now will be written in your own records and not to any pastors. No one should hinder you. No one should stop you. You can do it. Most of the youngest apostles we have today started even at your ages without complaints. So let's move forward, looking unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of our faith. God bless you.
Thank you very much. In closing, I know Triumph went off and joined us. Don't worry. I want to just correct, or no, not really correct, just explain the reason behind some of the decisions our fathers take. Maybe Triumph actually talked about communication, and she was saying that you're prevented from inviting ministers who are non-CAC. Now, all the guys under my leadership, I've told them they are going to, you must go to a theology seminary, not to become a pastor, but to understand the Bible. Now, there are schools of thoughts, and there are things we believe in Christ Apostolic Church. You'll be too naive to think it's just because of don't wear jewelries or that's too trivial. But there are things that we believe in Christ Apostolic Church that are fundamental to our faith, and others don't necessarily believe it. For instance, we believe the Bible is the word of God, immutable, irrefutable, and it was inspired by God. But we've heard preachers say that. I've heard preachers correct Bible. Did you understand? So that's the mind of our fathers when they say, or let us know the minister who you're bringing. You may not understand. For instance, once someone is teaching heresy, because I've studied, I've done theology, I understand these schools of thought. I know this is a Calvinist. I know this guy is on this school of thought. So when I'm telling you not to listen to him, it's not because of don't wear jewelries, he's wearing jewelry. That's too trivial, it's too tiny. Because it's tiny, just tiny, but because of our core beliefs. So maybe they haven't communicated it well to you. I apologize on behalf of our fathers, but that is one of the reasons why they say, okay, let us know who you are bringing. Let us know their attitude, their character. Someone can be a good motivational speaker, a good orator, but their lives are not preaching those things. So that is the reason, and I'm very sure that now that you know the reason, you will also think in that direction. But I really want to appreciate you guys. Thank you for bearing your hearts out, and I want to appreciate the church authority for allowing you guys. I mean, look at their faces. I still cannot get over the fact that me and Pastor Joshua we're now called
you people.
You understand? Like,
it's okay. God
understand. Yeah. It's fine. So thank you very much, guys. God bless you, and to all our viewers across the globe, thank you for staying tuned till about 10 p.m. Nigerian time. The Lord bless you. Tomorrow we wrap up the pastors' conference with a beautiful Holy Communion service. Our fathers are going to wrap up the analysis session with us. So please stay tuned. We are going to have our fathers in the studio pray with us, share their thoughts with us. And I want to thank the team in the studio staying up until this time. They've been up since 6 a.m. and they are still up till 10 p.m. The Lord bless you in Jesus' name. So I'll see you tomorrow by the grace of God. Good night and God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
The season to retreat, refresh, and refire is here again. It's the Christ Apostolic Church Pastors Conference 2024, tagged Spiritual Power and Gift for the Body of Christ. It's a gathering unto the Lord where we gather to equip, empower, and inspire one another to fulfill our sacred calling.